Welcome to Disturbed. We are finally catching up with this season. It might be the first season that we've actually finished, right?
No, we finished Roanoke, didn't we? And we finished
So we didn't finish let's talk about all of our past failures right now. We didn't finish Cult.
This will be a 5-part show for the last week.
We didn't finish Cult. We never finished the one where they're
We never finished Carnival.
Yeah, we finished Carnival.
We didn't finish Cult. We didn't finish Apocalypse.
Those are the two we didn't finish. And then we never did the original shows, which we probably should. I just can't commit. I was thinking we should do a watch party, but I can't commit to doing a whole series. Maybe we should do like one episode as a watch party.
Maybe the best episode from each season.
Oh, we do a fan thing. They pick the episode, and then we pick a night that we do a live watch. That would be kind of fun.
And then we rail on each other for an hour, and it's awesome.
No, that's pretty much all we're going to do anyway. So we are talking season 9, episode 8, the final episode of 1984, Final Girl. And I'm going to say the word final one more time. We are finally here. Cool. So, yeah, man. Did you, now you've obviously watched it, right?
Yes.
Did you watch it recently? I think was more my question.
No, I have not. I've, had other worries, but maybe I would say.
Why? What's going on?
No, there's stuff happening. So.
Season 11, pandemic.
If it was Apocalypse, then we'd be in. I think.
Right.
I think we'd be in. So.
Yeah. So okay. Well, we're going to talk about Final Girl. Before we get into that, let's do a little housekeeping. Disturbed is definitely on track. We are not done by any stretch. I know there's another season coming. We're going to go back and do some of the earlier stuff. We have some ideas because this show is too cool. It's too much fun to do. And now that we have a little time, I think it'd be fun to go back and try and figure out a way to
sure.
have some fun with this. I've been organizing some of the social media stuff. I had started things, then I kind of dropped off. Things just got way too crazy. Now I have time. I can take a couple of days and really fine-tune all that and get things set. And you, as the listener, definitely get in contact with us. Definitely get in conversation because that's what this is all about, man. We're all isolated. Let's talk about things we dig, which is horror.
Yes.
Right?
It is, absolutely.
As well as other stuff. So, okay. That was the other thing I was about to do. I've already fallen off track. So to follow us, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. The easiest way to do it is go to our link tree, linktr.ee/disturbed. I think it might say disturbed or disturbed pod. I don't remember. It's in the show notes. There you go. If you look it up, you'll find it. Or just look in the show notes for this episode or any of the episodes from this season. We updated all of them. So it has our link tree and it has all our social media links there.
That's good.
All right. Should we do it?
Pardon me. Yes, we should.
So this one starts out right when it started. We got a clue that it was a flash forward. When you think about that last episode, how it ended, we were really left with a cliffhanger. I thought we were going to get kind of a Friday the 13th type thing with the water and him getting pulled in and, blah, blah, blah. But instead, they jump forward to 2019.
Right.
So technically present day, although we're watching it in 2020. So it'd be nice if they could update that whenever we watch things to say that it's the current year.
They should change all the dates retroactively in the entire show. That would be awesome.
That'd be great. Season 1 premieres 2020.
Season.
It starts out with Finn Whitrock, who we've been waiting to have show up.
Yes.
He's taking, I'd like to think he's taking a Lyft. It was probably an Uber, but since I drive Lyft, I would, shout out to Lyft. I would hope it would be Lyft. And I love it when he gets out of the car. The guy's like, "Hey, give me 5 stars." Yeah. And he was saying he was going back to Camp Redwood.
Yes.
And when he gets there, everything's all blocked off. Now, at this point, I knew it was, I was like, okay, it's got to be a flash forward. But they still had, it wasn't quite clicking in yet. His clothes looked like they could be from any time.
He kind of had that grungy, because he's, that grungy, because isn't he from Canada? So he had flannel and stuff on, right? If I remember.
So he's Canadian handsome? Yes.
Yes, he is Canadian handsome. I believe he is anyway.
Yes. So So we see him get to Camp Redwood. It's all blocked off and everything. We're assuming that it's in the future. The Uber thing should have tipped us off, but I don't know if you caught it. But I was like, I was still not figuring out exactly what.
He had a cell phone in his hand.
Well, that's when we got the clue in, when he pulled out the cell phone. That was awesome. When Montana comes out of the woods and she's like, hey, and he's like, well, what the hell, And we see the stage. It's all in tatters. It still says 1989 on it. The place is boarded up. He passed by a wood chipper, which we had not seen yet.
Which was nasty.
We're going to get there. That's a hell of a scene. And then Montana shows up, and she's still Montana.
Yes.
Now, we know the jig. Like, as soon as we see her, I'm like, yeah, man, she's stuck there. She's a ghost.
Right.
So she is fascinated by that cell phone. I thought this was such a great touch.
Uh-huh.
To me, it was really fun having her with that cell phone, having her like oh my God. Then when she had that great line, she's like, time went on and everybody forgot about us. Something distracted them. Now I know what.
Yeah.
She's sitting there looking at the phone.
There were several dings, especially at the end, when they'll say, "They'll never forget the '80s." That's true. Yeah. So there's a lot to that. So
yeah, and here we are doing a show in 1984. Yeah. Now, you know what? I'm going to ask a question before we go further. This episode in particular, the season, I've had a lot of fun with this season. But I also know that, like, I was talking to Martha, my wife, about it. She enjoyed the season, but she thought it was she goes, when it was not good, it was really not good.
True.
I enjoyed the whole season. I had a lot of fun from beginning to end. What did you think about this?
Well, no, I loved it because it wasn't, what's the right word? It was campy in a good way. It was campy in an 80s horror movie kind of way, which was awesome. And I think they went for that intentionally. It wasn't unintentional camp. It was intentional camp. And it was so over the top that it was great. Just like a lot of those 80s movies. And I thought it was good. No, are there some bad parts? There always is. But there are too many great performances to not.
Yeah, there really were. And here's the thought I had in watching tonight's episode. We're going to call it tonight's because this is when I watched it. First of all, I really, really liked this episode. This was like a high watermark for the entire series for me. Like, I really liked it.
For the year or for everything?
For everything. This was an episode that I thought one after the other, I was surprised by things. There were things they took a few shortcuts, and once again they have 42 minutes to finish up 18 storylines, and they can't do them all justice. And that's what I was going to say. Actually, I think it would have been better served if they had written this as like an hour 45-minute movie.
Right. It should have been more because they didn't really address.
No, I mean the whole season. Chris.
Yeah.
I think this season, if this had been a tight, like, hour 45 movie, they could have taken a lot of that extra stuff that they were throwing in there that made it have a million storylines. They could have made it make sense. Think about the movie Cabin in the Woods. They do the same kind of thing where you're not sure what's going on. And then once they start, like, flipping cards, you're like, whoa, this did the same thing, but it stretched it out. Yeah, I think that's where people fell off a little bit.
But they had to, they threw in every movie they could of the 80s slasher movies.
Sure.
Of all of them. And there just wasn't enough time. I thought it was good. I loved a lot of what they did. They took some shortcuts at the end. They kind of tied things up and kind of put a bow on it and said, here you go. But I was okay with it because there was some good payoff at the end, I think.
See, now I actually
is that Sweeporama?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my camera right because it looks like I'm looking off, but I can't figure out where to look. And then I look like I have walleyes when I look at the camera right now because it's going on my glasses, so it makes my eyes look like they're going like this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to fix that.
And
it looks
glare.
weird.
We're not talking about that in double.
Yeah, that glare is really bad.
Because they brought.
But I had no problem with what you were just saying. I had no problem with them doing some shortcuts and flipping these things because I had so much fun with this episode. You know, if you read my notes, it's like Brooke's dead, Brooke's alive. Like each time I bought it, like, okay, she's dead. And then I'm sitting there thinking like, wait, how is she, what's going to happen here? I'll tell you a shortcut they did take. They didn't explain how Jingles is gone for so long.
Well, they did because they explained it earlier when they said that the mom keeps coming and going. That she was there in the beginning of she was there the first time they did the murders, and then she disappeared. So,
right, but where were they? And when
but she had the power to hide, and so I mean,
when Margaret showed up, she kind of implied that she was the one keeping him separate, but I don't think she was.
No. And
she said, I've just been hiding out here. It's like, okay, you're a ghost. You don't need to eat or anything. You're just hanging out there. But think about the other ghosts said they were really bored. So 30 years by yourself in isolation.
But they had to.
That's super bored.
They had to keep Death Watch, which was awesome, by the way.
That was one of the reasons I loved this episode.
I mean, they have nothing to do.
And they got to get in all those quality kills.
Yes.
You know, because of it. So that was great. Ramirez is laying there. They're doing Death Watch. He wakes up. The first one, they're like, nope. They start hacking him up. Like he breaks his ankles. He does a total misery thing. Crack, crack. And then kills him. Then the next one, when the two women are standing there with the sticks.
Yeah.
And he just wakes up. He's like, crap.
I don't understand why they didn't jail him for a little bit instead of having to be killing him every whatever. You know, I mean,
they wanted to torture him.
Right. Well, I mean, but
if he was jailed, think about it. You'd still have to have 24-hour watch.
Oh, yeah, but then you don't have to kill him 5 million times. I mean,
what's more fun?
Exactly. I mean, but after even doing that for 30 years, how much fun can that be? I mean, even, Cody.
I don't know. They had Pictionary.
Cody's making out with the cook. So
that was great. Now, how did it take her 30 years to hit on him? I mean, come on. If they're like, come on, he's doing it with everybody. And then she's like, oh, come on. I'm like, it's been 30 years. There's no way.
Right. Exactly.
There's no way.
You would just think that eventually it would be.
But playing off the tropes, I loved this because you knew the second she was like hitting on him, oh, we should play Strip Pictionary. I'm going, this is every 80s horror movie. Yeah. The second that they start getting sexy, the monster shows up and starts stabby. And that's exactly what happened. But what was so great is how they kept playing with that. He goes a few feet, they show up, kill. A few more feet, kill. A few more feet, kill. And they kept appearing and disappearing.
Right.
I loved that. I thought that was so fun.
Yes.
You know?
Well, they were able to get, they were able to have a valid excuse to just kill for no reason. And the same guy who, as you think about it, deserved it more than anybody. So,
what did you think of the Montana Trevor? How they're still together? Did you like that?
Yeah, because I think in the end he was actually as sappy and as dorky and as much of a not jerk as he was, but kind of egomaniac. He was a decent guy, and just I think they were both properly shallow enough to like each other and end up being with each other and it working out.
Well, and somehow death made them better people.
Right. Which, go figure. Getting shot in the elephant trunk, as they say, might have a reason to do that for you. So.
Wait, I have that line that Bobby said. Hold on, I got to find it. When he first sees Bruce and he's like, he first sees Trevor. And he's like, hey, you're Trevor. Don't you have a huge? And he goes like ego or whatever. Where is that line? I lost it. Son of a gun. That was too funny, but I ruined it. Oh, you have an enormous personality. That's what he said.
Well, I mean, it's great that he has the scrapbook about it all. I mean, about everything that's been written about the camp and all the people and all the stuff. I mean, and it's from the writer. I think it's fantastic. So,
did you like the idea of Bobby being fully grown? Because that surprised me when they first announced that's who it was. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Right. Well, I didn't know who it was because I thought it might be just some kind of random dude, but it does make sense that his son would come back, that that Ramirez did not get out because they don't explain that. They kind of leave that dangling.
Yeah, well, that was what was great about this episode. All those things that they had left on the last one. I fully thought, after watching the last episode, I thought Ramirez got out. I thought when Jingles went into the water, there was nobody safeguarding against Ramirez, and Ramirez got out, and I assumed that his kid would be killed. I assumed that Ramirez gets caught on the outside or whatever it is. That's what I assumed was going to happen. This was a really cool resolution to that whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it was great that he came back, and then it got to be typical where Bobby gets stabbed in the back, and then
how did he get up and run? I mean, that was a machete through the back, man.
Yeah, it's 80s. You don't, if it doesn't kill you, you can keep running, and then goes to the hospital, the Redwood Hospital, and she happens to be there at 11 o'clock at night. But I mean, and
go talk to the director; she'll have answers for you. And did you know who the director was? I was like, I thought it was going to be Brooke.
Right. Well, I mean, but it almost makes sense that it's Donna. Almost, not really, but it does.
I thought it. Well, no, it does because she was a nurse, and she was a nurse there. Like she
also engineered the escape of Mr. Jingles. So
yeah, but if nobody knows that,
right? That's true. I mean, maybe she makes it her life's work to try to rectify all the BS she started. So
yeah, if she got away with it because she was as far as anybody knew, that was a Nurse Rita. That wasn't Donna. Right. So she may have gotten away with the whole thing.
She's not Nurse Rita though. That's the thing.
She's Donna.
Right. So I mean,
but what I'm saying is from their perspective, from the perspective of everybody in the beginning, there was no Donna that was out at that camp, even though it was.
Right.
So that's why I think that if anyone had looked into it, they didn't find Donna. They found that there was a Nurse Rita maybe that had been there and evidence of her, but they wouldn't have found Donna.
Right. Absolutely. No, I mean, there's, but I mean that she happens to be there and then tells him the whole story. And then, he's getting these checks that are supporting him and she doesn't know. And that kind of explanation I thought was a little iffy.
Yeah, that was a little iffy. That was a little end of Scream 2 for me.
Yeah, but that's exactly what they did. They threw that nod in. That was a nod to that. So I mean,
totally. This was totally the Scream series at the end with Brooke specifically.
Right. It was a nod to the nod. I mean, it was like taking it to the next level, which was I thought ingenious. I mean, that kind of get there, and it's kind of funny that she felt guilty that she killed Brooke when she didn't feel guilty at all. Donna didn't feel guilty at all about that. And then Brooke's alive, and then she's pissed at her, which was great.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that was very very much that Scream type of wordplay there with those guys. That was fine. I wasn't really invested at that point in the Donna Brooke relationship.
Sure.
But I still enjoyed watching what was playing out. The better stuff, I mean, the first half of this episode was hilarious. I was laughing through the whole thing. Second half, I thought was a lot of great cards flipping. Did Judd Nelson get his Oscar? That's the question for the ages. I have another line that I completely loved. Another line.
It was a total Back to the Future reference.
Right.
Director. I mean, totally. It's like, okay. Well, and I like the reversal of instead of the future going back to the past, where somebody travels in time and brings some kind of cool device that those people are stuck and that the world has gone around them. And then they're like, oh my God, what's this and what's that? And, there's the cell phone and taking pictures and, I really
liked another line when Bruce and Trevor are sitting there and Margaret is telling them how like it's all going to hell and somebody's turning them away. They're like, yeah, and Courtney came in and says Cricket comes in and says, it's Trevor turning him away. I said Trevor. It was Bruce and Ramirez are sitting there.
Right. Yeah.
And Bruce goes, Dylan McDermott goes, does this mean I don't get to kill Debbie Gibson? Oh my God. That was hilarious. And then Ramirez is like, I only want Billy Idol. Like he's still obsessed with Billy Idol, which was also a good payoff. When she's like, of course Billy got through. Like Billy couldn't get through. They blocked it. She goes, what? Of course Billy got through. He's a rebel. And Ramirez is like, Yeah.
Oh,
how about when they played when they pulled up and they were playing Flock of Seagulls?
Yes, it's great.
That was amazing.
The only thing that I want to say, not the only thing I regret, but I regret that they didn't either get Billy Idol or have somebody play Billy Idol.
Me too. I said when it showed up, when they were going into the cabin where she was saying he was, they needed a Billy Idol corpse in there, or they needed Billy Idol there, or somebody that looks like Billy Idol, to be a ghost with them. That would have been fantastic, because that's one thing they missed. That is one big thing they missed. All those people that got killed there, like Kaja Gugu.
Yeah.
Did we see them when all the ghosts were standing there at the end?
No, we did, because they played again. They said we're not. They showed them as ghosts. Saying we're
tonight. Not in this episode.
No, it was the last one. Yeah. Where they said we're a better band than we've ever been. Okay.
Right. This episode, all the bands, the few that got killed, Kaja Gugu we know got killed. There were others that got killed. I'm sure of it. Or if they didn't, they should have played that up and had maybe Billy Idol, like somebody really recognizable having gotten killed.
That would have been
Zucker Ramirez would be like, Billy, and then they're like, sorry, dude, he's a ghost. That would have been really fantastic. And then at the end, when they're all standing there, like watching Bobby run,
yeah,
you have them all. You have all those musicians standing there, and like Billy Idol gives him one of these. That would have been fantastic.
Well, yes, I think that would have been.
We did get. I want to give a shout out to our favorite character, Cricket.
Oh yeah,
and we got Courtney in this, but Leslie Jordan is magic on this show. Yeah. He gets shot. He gets shot and killed. And then when he comes back, I mean, I'm just like, you can't give me enough Leslie Jordan. It's just
I saw him on something else, and I was like, oh my god, he's the same exact character every time.
It's just so great. And that hair that they had on him this time.
Oh yeah, that was a horrible piece. You should look into it. You're gonna know.
Oh, look, I got hair. I'm not a Lil or anything.
Okay, Brian Urlacher. Okay, thanks.
I'm Hair Locker. Cut it out. Let's see what else happened in this one. Let's distract from my hair conversation.
Well, I like how they take care of the three bad people. So they do the circle of death for Ramirez. Because they're all pissed.
Oh, that was brutal. That was great.
The circle of death was great. We talked about that. What they do with Bruce, where they set up the wood, they kill him and roll him down the hill before he dies, so he's outside the camp.
Yes,
and dies. Was great. And then the supposed killing of Margaret, where they dismember and throw her body parts into a wood chipper and shoot it over the.
And they got it. They got this scene right. Because the whole time when Montana says the line, your head will live for 30 seconds, your brain will live for 30 seconds after you're decapitated. What they were distracting us with is you're thinking of how long 30 seconds is.
Right.
That's what you were supposed to do. And it went way under 30 seconds. But the whole time I'm thinking, the second he threw the head in the wood chipper, I'm like, she's dead. The brain does not live once it's gone through the wood chipper.
No.
So the fact that they threw the head, that's where he made the mistake.
Yeah. Well, there's also I saw another, thing that talked about it, is that like some of her guts and blood spew back on the faces of the people that are watching. So technically part of her body was still in the camp. So maybe that if you watch, like they throw the head in there and it spews it out. Like number one, they threw a head and it was like an entire body's worth of stuff came out of the chute. But then if you look back, especially the guys that played, the cosplay Mr. Jingles, had blood all over them from it. So I mean, that's actually a big error then too. Yeah. Although it could have been explained. You know what I mean? Sure. Like maybe blood is not enough. Right. Maybe I died. Right? She could have said I died as soon as my head hit the chipper, and so I came back.
Right. It could be that, like, if the brain is outside of if the brain dies outside, they're not in. If the brain dies inside, you're in.
Right.
So even if it was blood all over them, doesn't matter. The brain is on the outside.
Well, her body, most of her body was still inside the fence.
No, it wasn't.
They didn't put her body in first. They put her head in first.
No, they did that. They did the torso. They were doing each limb, and then they threw the torso in, and then he chucked the head in. It was the last thing.
Oh, I thought the head was first.
No, he chucked the head in at the very last second.
Well,
And as soon as he chucked it in, I was like, but the brain is dead then.
Right.
Inside the limits.
Inside the limits.
Because the grinder was on this side of the fence. If they had the grinder on the other side of the fence and they were throwing it in, like basketballing it in there, that would have been something different. You know who else didn't show up? My buddy Todd. Todd got stabbed in the eye.
Yeah.
Remember? Back when he was peeping on the guys in the cabin? He was the agent.
Yeah,
so he never, or the movie guy, whatever, producer.
Right. Sleazy, yes.
Yeah, he didn't show up at the end. He should have been standing there too. Any of those people that were killed in the camp limits should have been standing there.
Well, they brought back one of the counselors to catch Ramirez, which was great.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good nod to some of that stuff. I just think they couldn't put everybody, but they gave you a taste of everything.
What they should have. They should have. What they should have done, because they would have had it planned out, is as they had actors die, they should have shot a moment with them. Instead of bringing them back to set, shoot a moment with them so that you can get those different looks that they're still there. Maybe shoot them like in different parts of the camp so they all look like when everything starts to happen, it cuts to, Todd and these other people, and they kind of like look like, oh, so those ghosts are still there. Or maybe an explanation. There's 200 of us over there having a campfire. They don't give a crap about you, Margaret.
We're the only ones who care. The rest are just pissed off.
You did it to us. Yeah. That's why we're after you. That would have solved a little error right in there. But once again, I loved them killing Ramirez over and over. I thought that was fabulous. I'm surprised it took 30 years for the devil to get him out of there. That was a little shocking.
Because it takes time. So
yeah, but if the whole thing was that the devil was in there and was like coming out like the demon came out of him, why didn't that happen at any other time before that?
Maybe they needed somebody from the outside to do it. I don't know, to come in, because they kind of indicated that nobody came in for 30 years. So
people before that had, and he was obviously dead.
But he was not since Camp Redwood.
Okay. Oh, since that day. Yeah,
not since that day. They made it pretty clear no one's been here since that day.
Can I also give a big shout out here to Trevor's amazing shirt when he was telling people to not come to the concert? What the pants, the like Sansabelt pants, and that shirt was just
glorious. It was glorious.
Oh my God. It was, I think I've seen that on the Goldbergs. I think Mrs. Goldberg wears that shirt. That was incredible. Like, the costumer for this should win an Emmy just for that shirt. Where they found that shirt.
You go to any resale shop in Hollywood, you're going to find that shirt. I mean, that's,
It was incredible.
That's the
if they ever make action figures out of us for this show, I want to be wearing that shirt.
I want to be Bruce with no thumbs. Give me removable thumbs.
I'm going to have to look. I have a picture of me I just saw the other day from when I cut my finger off. Where I've got the big thing on my head, just like Bruce. I saw it. I was like, hey, I look like the guy in American Horror Story.
You're Bruce.
Yeah. Well, not really, but
yeah.
Can I get it in there? Oh.
So, and a shade. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm just starting out in the biz. What a great character. And then at the end, we get kind of a payoff on how Trevor was saved, because he was shot outside of the.
Yes, that was really good.
And Brooke comes back to save him, which, I kind of liked. I like that. I thought it was.
I like that a lot. In fact, I thought for sure he was going to pull himself over the line with Montana's urging, because they were trying to lead you down that path, and I fully bet it. I was like, okay, she's going to be there, and she's going to get just close enough that she can drag him over the second before he dies.
Why couldn't she find a rope? Why couldn't she find a rope? They're at camp.
Because she would have had to leave.
Yeah, well,
she was standing right there in front of him. If there wasn't a rope like right there, she has to just like, you can do it, you can do it. I mean, you wouldn't leave the person you love like dragging themselves 2 feet away when you're like, I don't know where a rope is. I'm going to have to run 10 minutes to find one. No, you would stay right there like,
We're talking about somebody who dated a serial killer because she thought it was cool. It's not going to change in 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But that was a great way to reintroduce Brooke and to let us know that she was there, because that last episode they were showing her getting there, and then they kind of let that. I forgot about it actually because it kind of didn't matter to me. I was like, okay, whatever. But then when she showed up, I was like, okay, this is really cool, and I like that she saved him, and I like that she had that line like, yeah, I don't belong here.
Right.
I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. I'm glad they didn't focus on Brooke.
Right.
She was one of the least interesting characters throughout this. I liked her in the beginning, and I liked
potential because she was, they kind of teased her with she survived the killing and all of that stuff and the murder.
But she became less and less interesting, kind of like Scream.
Sure.
By the end, I don't really care in Scream about the final girl. I want to see the killer, and I want to see the crazy characters around the killer, just like we saw here. And really, technically, Montana stole the show by the end. I mean, really, the show was all about Billy Lord by the end.
She stole it all earlier. She did. She was always great. But by the end of this show, that was the only character you were just so engaged with. No, I love Trevor too. Come on.
He was fantastic too. He was the sidekick.
Yeah,
but he was awesome. He was awesome. Let's see, what else did we get? I thought
John Carroll Lynch was great in the first.
He's always
great,
but he's great in everything. I mean, he's been great through this whole series, and I loved how. Now, like I said, I didn't like how they had him show up without explanation, really. But I did like
at the end when they find the mom and the son and the brother together, that she kind of protected her family and took them in.
Sure, but they also, like, he had come back to protect the people in the camp and to stop Ramirez. So
that was before he caught mom, though.
But I couldn't imagine that. Yeah, but I can't imagine he would have let his son just die. I would have thought he would have been part of unless he was being stopped, which is what they were implying with Margaret. Right. Unless he was being stopped, he would have found a way to be part of that. Keep killing Ramirez. Keep him there. So he had to be.
He was taken by his brother, but he was taken by his brother before that happened. He was taken by his brother like in 1984.
Right, but I'm still saying he would have come back out.
Maybe his mom and brother kept him. I mean, I don't know. I can live with that because maybe he's back with his family. It's like, there's nothing I can do for my son. I failed him. I'm done, and gave up. And
I did really, really like how they flipped the story at the end, which they had already started to do, especially last episode. But this one, when we saw Jingles and his mom and his brother at the camp line, the entrance, and like, you took this guy who was the monster in the beginning, and and she was horrible too. Right. And you found, over the course, we found out their stories, and all of a sudden these monsters were not necessarily the monsters we thought they were. And at the end, they ultimately saved Bobby.
Right.
I thought that was a really cool approach to this whole thing. I do wish that they had talked. I thought it was weird. Like, you saw that like Montana was yelling to Trevor across the line. Why didn't Jingle say something to his son? Like, I'll always love you. I'll always be here.
Right.
But instead they just stood there and stared at each other, and then Jingles cries a little bit and he goes off.
Yeah.
They could have easily done the 6 feet coronavirus thing, had them standing 6 feet away. And he's like, hey, this is your brother. This is your grandma.
Your uncle.
This is, I'm so glad. And I'll always be here. You ever want to talk, you come and stand at this line and I'll be here.
They could have done the Field of Dreams. How about a catch? I mean, that would have been great.
How about a catch? Only at the last second, Ramirez throws a machete at him.
Catch it.
Catch this.
Catch a machete to the head.
The 80s will never die, man.
The 80s will never die. It's true. As long as you and I are alive, the 80s will never die.
I got another moment that I truly loved because it was just a cherry on top when they were leaving the camp. When Bobby was like getting out of there, and they start playing "The Living Years" by Mike and the Mechanics.
Yes.
I'm like, that there could not have been a more perfect song for that moment. As soon as it started up, I'm like, oh yes. And Martha goes, they're playing "The Living Years." This is perfect.
Yeah, it's cliche. I mean, they could have played any quintessential 80s song, but they probably couldn't afford other ones. So
"Living Years" is just, just perfect about generations, about fathers and sons, and the whole thing. To me, it just was a perfect note to end it on. And I didn't get to the end and wish there was like an after credit scare or something. I was like, nope, they wrapped up the story, and it worked for me. I just wish that they had verbalized a little bit there. I think that would have been a little bit better. I mean, there's always things that you, in hindsight or from this chair, that you feel like, oh, I can correct those things. Right. But otherwise, stepping aside from that for a second, like I said, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I think this was a high mark for the series.
If they would have done something and they talked, we would be saying, well, they didn't get enough time to talk. So they might have just made the decision to do the wave goodbye and see you later. And
your after credits could have been him sitting in a camping chair, just sitting. They're both on either side of the thing in their camping chairs, like playing Go Fish.
That's right. Yeah,
they're playing war. Just throwing the cards down.
With Kaja Gugu playing in the back.
Kaja Gugu. You have Kaja Gugu and Twisty. Now I can't think of his name. Jingles. Playing against Bobby.
That's right.
So it ends with Kaja Gugu sitting there. That would have been and Leslie Jordan. You know what? Let's just get them all in there. I don't care. Where's Lady Gaga? We need Lady Gaga back.
Yeah, she's not going back. She wanted an Oscar doing something.
How about when Bobby's running away and we're getting all the feels and everything? What if Kathy Bates stepped out as her Roanoke character and stabbed him, chopped him up with a cleaver at the last second? So Jingles was like, no!
Yes.
That would have been the way to end it.
That would have been a good way.
Tie it all together.
Or the witches show up for some reason.
Yeah, man. I'd be down with all that.
Absolutely.
So did we do it?
What?
Did we do it? Is this it?
I think we did it. I think we actually finished the season. Our second of 5. It's awesome. Right? Because we did Carnival.
No, we finished Roanoke. We finished Carnival. We've only missed 2. There's only 2 that we didn't finish out, which we have to finish out.
We finished our third of 5. No, yeah, I said second. You're right.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
Are you sure we finished Carnival?
I'm positive we finished Carnival. The first one we didn't finish was Cult.
Cult?
Yep. That's the first time we didn't finish. And then Apocalypse we didn't finish. So we fell off a little bit, but we're back on track. And for those, we'll just have to go back and watch the last couple episodes and do a recap of the last couple episodes. I have some ideas of things I'd like to do with this. During this time where we're isolated, I will be giving it some more thought because I think it's definitely fun to talk about horror. It's fun to talk about this show, obviously. I don't think that we should focus just exclusively on American Horror Story, though. I think that it serves us better if we do some ghost stories or things like that. So I've been gathering some ideas. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But for now, that wraps up this season of Disturbed. Chris, you want to give your social media?
Yeah, well, can we touch a couple things before the next part? So know.
I'll cut that out. I'll cut that part out.
Well, we know that Evan Peters is back, and we know that Sarah Paulson are back.
And we know that Macaulay Culkin is back.
Macaulay Culkin is, yeah. So, I mean, it's setting up to be a humdinger. All they need to do is bring back, God, I can't think of it.
But I thought this was supposed to be a witches season.
It's supposed to be, but Apocalypse kind of was. So, I don't know. Hopefully it will be. So, does that mean they're going to bring back, Kathy Bates and Jacqueline Bisset and the whole,
no idea.
That would be fantastic if they could get the whole gang back together. So.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I'm excited to have Evan Peters back. I think Macaulay Culkin is going to be a good time in there. And
he's looking to be there. And, they'll bring back who they see fit. Cricket, some way. Got to get Leslie.
Please. If they want to keep in our good graces, they're going to bring Leslie Jordan back.
If they know what's good for them.
If they know what's good for them.
If they know what's good for them. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I think they both are just so emblematic of the series. And even if they're in like kind of a minor role, they easily steal the scene.
Right.
Even when they're bad, and they're not, they're good. So
right. Yeah, man.
Sarah Paulson's been pretty much a major character in everything, but she really wasn't the main character as much in Carnival. And she wasn't as much in Roanoke, although she was in Roanoke. But those were all Evan Peters showcases. So
right. Yeah, Evan Peters at some point kind of became the main player. I think. Well, he and Sarah Paulson both kind of played the main player, and if they weren't what it was about, they were very dominant.
Right. Well, and they need to get Dennis O'Hare back if they can, because
oh please. I mean, they did get Dylan McDermott back.
Yeah, but he's I think they would be great to get him. Whatchamajigger, who was the wife in Asylum or Murder House? She's good.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but yeah, she hasn't done anything since then either.
Yeah, she'd be great. So
she keeps having TV shows though, so I think that her schedule has gotten funny. She might be on a different network where they don't allow it. I'm not sure.
She's actually working and has a career, so
right.
Unlike everybody else on this show. So.
Oh, Kathy Bates is a huge movie star. How dare you?
What has she been in lately?
Get Schmidt.
Which limited release movie. Artsy film.
She did a Netflix series. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, they show up in stuff.
They should have had her show up and do the misery thing with the sledgehammer. Like she just works at the camp. She just walks up. She's like,
And somebody looks at James Caan because I believe he's dead, isn't he?
James Caan?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where's your mother? We need to know. That would have been great if they would have showed up and he'd been like, he would have been the aged Richard Ramirez and been like, not again.
What would be perfect with him is if he, hold on, I can't find James Caan. How do you spell James Caan? Here he is.
C-A-N.
Yeah. It doesn't have a death day.
Maybe he's alive. He's our new Abe Vigoda.
He was born in 1940. Sorry to bust you out on the age there, my friend, but it does not have a death day.
He's 80. Wow. Good. God bless. I'm glad. I'm glad he's still here. I'm not, trying to wish anybody that, but I thought he had passed. So hope he's around. That's good. Good for him.
He's our Abe Vigoda. This show's Abe Vigoda. We'll just keep checking in on him. Is he alive or dead? I'm not sure.
So just for reference, on our other show This Week in Geek, we reference everything. Is Abe Vigoda alive or dead? And
he came up in every conversation.
Well, of course he did, because I was talking. I love Barney Miller. One of the greatest shows ever.
Welcome to Disturbed, Season 1 of Barney Miller.
Season
this
1.
week, Wojciechowicz and Sulu had
Wojciechowicz and Jack
Sue. Yeah.
Yes, but I can't remember his name. Yes. So.
All right, man. Well, it's funny that we both knew Jack Sue immediately. That's a name I bet doesn't get said a lot.
Him and Ron Glass are the only guys I can remember.
Ron Glass.
I can remember he was great. So
wasn't he on Firefly? Was that Ron Glass? Yeah, he was awesome.
He was great as a preacher. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we went off track again. Chris, give your social media.
Absolutely. I can be found at theblueboxcafe.com or Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media.
And hey, if you're in the Elgin area and you want to support Chris, this is the time. You can order from the Blue Box Cafe, correct?
Correct.
For the time being, as far as we know, you can order from the Blue Box Cafe.
We are still open in a limited fashion until
Another great way to support him, and this is if you don't live in the area, but you know somebody who does, why don't you order a gift certificate or something from Blue Box? Because that's a good way to support restaurants and small businesses that you want to support. Buy a gift certificate and really show them some support that way, because that can really help as well. Let's see. For my social media, you can follow me at rsouthgate on Twitter, Rob Southgate on Instagram. Easiest thing is just go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com. We've got all the stuff there, including we've got links to buy our book, Pod Life, and we are in the throes of working on Pod Life 2, Electric Boogaloo, and or The Wrath of James Caan. I'm not sure which one we're going to go with. And we got lots of cool stuff. And one more thing, if you are a comic book fan, starting, by the time this shows, it's going to be tomorrow. So starting today, according to those of you that are listening to the podcast, we have a new show called Alley Chats, where every day we've got a different artist that you would find in Artist Alley, whether it's a writer, an artist, filmmaker, whatever, anyone that you would find in an Artist Alley at Comic-Con. We're doing a little 15-minute interview with them, just kind of find out about their product, what they have, exposing you to it. You can find a lot of cool things. So far, these interviews have been so much fun. I found so many things I want to buy. And that's a great way to learn about what's out there, because let's face it, we're not going to any cons anytime soon. Regardless of what happens, that kind of thing is going to be shut down for a little bit, just because con crud is a real thing. And
it's not a BS.
So this is a way to get that experience and find all this cool stuff. Just follow Alley Chats, or go to southgatemediagroup.com to find it, or follow Southgate Media Group on Facebook, because we post them all there.
Because it has to be.
Yeah. And I got one more thing. If you're a horror fan, which I imagine you are, on our show Read Between the Lines, which is one that my daughter Molly does. She interviews authors. She is on Tuesday. So when this airs tomorrow, it's so confusing. She's interviewing Daniel Kraus, who wrote The Shape of Water.
Nice.
She's going to be interviewing, I can't remember names. We went to a horror panel, and she's got interviews with the guy that wrote Bird Box. And we're hoping she'll have an interview with Joe Hill coming up. Don't say. Huh?
Carol Carpenter? Cindy Carpenter.
Yeah. She's great too. She's going to be interviewing her. She just interviewed Sandy King Carpenter. Or on there, she goes by Sandy King, because she's trying to, be her own thing, which is awesome, from Storm King Comics. John Carpenter's wife, though, she talked horror. She is a rock star. So check out Read Between the Lines. You will not be sorry. It's such cool stuff. And last thing, we still have our show sponsor. You're trapped at home. Why not hunt a serial killer? There's a link in the show notes for Hunt a Killer. You get a discount by using our coupon code in there, and you can hunt a serial killer from the safety of your own home. So definitely, if you're interested in finding something cool to do, because let's face it, some of us have a lot of time on our hands right now, Hunt a Killer, get it in our show notes. It's awesome. Any final thoughts, Chris?
No, just if you're seeing this currently, be safe, do what you got to do, and we appreciate you listening and clicking on us, so thank you.
Yeah, man. And that's it for Disturbed. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back with something soon. We just don't know what.